So let's, and there's James. He's become more famous than me.
Former FBI Director James Comey's new book, A Higher Loyalty, is been anticipated for weeks and months. The book is due out next week. The Associated Press purchased a copy. In our reviewing it, the FBI director spares very little in terms of his attacks on the president. He calls him unethical and untethered to truth. He often goes back to the comparing it to a mob boss, that the president was sort of running a New York crime family in some ways. We can be all but as certain that the president will attack Comey once these books are come out. In our reporting at the Associated Press, we know in recent days and weeks he has been fuming, knowing that this book was coming, accusing Comey of trying to make money off of his name while tarnishing Trump's name in the process. Comey describes in great minutia sort of some of the interactions, his first interaction with the president-elect, which was the Trump Tower meeting in January of 2017, just about 2 or so weeks before Trump took office. He describes in somewhat of insulting ways that I'm sure the president will take rather personally and perhaps not well. He says that Comey, who's 6'8", says that Trump was shorter than he expected. He described that his face was sort of orange, and he saw like little white half circles under his eyes where he assumed he had goggles on in the tanning bed. He made a point also of looking at the size of the president's hands. James Comey said that though they were smaller than his, they seemed to be of normal proportions. There's plenty of material in the book also about the Hillary Clinton investigation. A particularly startling admission is Comey says that he wishes he had handled the press conference differently. The infamous press conference, or famous depending on your point of view, back in July 2016, when he announced that the Department of Justice was not going to recommend that any charges be brought against Secretary Clinton for her use of the email server. That he wished he had sort of not buried the lead. Like he had, if you recall the news conference, he sort of spent a lot of time really sort of criticizing the secretary, only at the end to say, but we're not finding any charges against her. He wishes he could have done that differently. There's also one other bombshell in the book in which Comey reveals that in early 2016, the United States government came into possession of classified information, which he believes could have cast doubt on then Attorney General Loretta Lynch's ability to be independent in the investigation into Hillary Clinton. And he also makes a point of saying it's unverified, so therefore it's not totally clear how credible or factually accurate all of it is. That said, it's certainly something that is eyebrow-raising.
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help God. Thank you very much.
He largely, I think, gives himself a pretty good grade here. That he feels like he conducted himself in a manner that was bringing the most respect to himself, but more importantly to the FBI, which is an institution he clearly cares greatly about.